Heading into the 2023 NFL season or the offseason, the Detroit Lions secondary was one of the weakest points when it came to the team. It really was. And now we got to talk about the pass rush, but that's going to be another video. The Detroit Lions wind up doing a lot in the NFL draft, got Brian Branch. Ife Melifonwu came alive from 2 drafts ago, and we signed somebody named CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, I made a video about him and other free agents, but this video, we're just going to exclusively focus on CJ Gardner-Johnson because I see that this guy has been a topic of conversation since the game against the San Francisco 49ers. And I think a lot of that is because of the dialogue between him and Deebo Samuel, and then the fact that he got out there, it was a penalty, missed tackles, really made himself look stupid. But the question that I have for you guys is, should the Detroit Lions re-sign CJ Gardner-Johnson? Now, a lot of you are saying this is actually, it's very intriguing that the debate is so strong with CJGJ after having him and being just ridiculous in the offseason. A lot of you guys are like, oh my God, we signed CJ Gardner-Johnson. This was probably the highlight of the offseason as far as free agency. And then I would say second was David Montgomery. But CJ Gardner-Johnson was hurt in game 2. He wound up playing, if I'm not mistaken, he wound up playing, including the playoffs. He came back for the Cowboy game, I believe it was, or the last game of the season against the Vikings. That's when he came back. So his first game, his second game, which he played most of the game hurt. Then he missed the next several in between that, and he played the last game of the season and then the 3 playoffs. So that is 6 games, but really 4.5, 5.5 that CJ Gardner-Johnson played. So is it enough to really say that he should come back? Now, here is his stats from his brief time with the Detroit Lions. He had 16 total tackles, 1 interception, and 3 passes defended. This does not include the postseason. But in the postseason, he wound up getting an interception, a big interception against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that second playoff game. Now, CJ Gardner-Johnson signed an $8.5 million deal with $6.5 guaranteed, I believe it was. And it was $2 million voided or for next year, very similar to how DJ Chark was in 2023 or 2022. But the question that I have is, should we re-sign CJ Gardner-Johnson? I put out a poll yesterday, and I actually can't believe how close the results are. Out of 2,400 votes, 47% said no, and 53% said yes. So it seems like a close majority of the fan base says yes, but it's closer than I thought it was going to be. Now, I know a lot of people are upset with CJ Gardner-Johnson about basically, we weren't really talking about him in a negative light until the San Francisco 49ers game. And like I said, it was most of the comments that I'm seeing is he did all that talking and he didn't back it up. While I can't agree with that, I can agree that that is the case. He maybe put his foot in his mouth for that game. But do we have enough of a sample size to say whether or not we should bring him back or not bring him back? I'm going to say that I would not mind if CJ Gardner-Johnson returns. Obviously, the price has to be right. The price was a big point in the Philadelphia Eagles not re-signing him. They did prioritize James Bradbury over him. Maybe this is why. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't hear much about him out of Philadelphia, right? But I think this guy can be a difference maker. I think if he has a full training camp, because it's just funny how quick we turn on people, right? Because I remember when he got hurt in training camp, the internet lost his mind. CJ Gardner-Johnson is hurt. He wound up not being that bad, and he was good to go in by the start of the season. Came out in the game, and he helped. Look at the positive. Like, he helped against that Kansas City Chiefs game. He helped in that game. So, but how quick we're ready to throw him in the trash. I myself don't believe the sample size is big enough. We know what kind of guy CJ Gardner-Johnson is. He's one that's going to talk. He is. Dan Campbell knew that. Brad Holmes knew that. They still brought him in anyway. So I would, if the price is right, I would not be opposed to bringing him back in because we need safety depth. So we got Kirby Joseph, we have Brian Branch, we have Ife Melifonwu, and then we could have CJ Gardner-Johnson in there as well. So I don't want our team to get worse. I want it to get better. And while we can use draft picks to get other needs, we need a defensive line. We might need to draft an offensive lineman as well. So I don't think that CJ Gardner-Johnson running his mouth with Deebo Samuel, I don't really think that that's a big enough deal for us not to, and him missing tackles. I don't think that's a big enough deal for us to say not to re-sign him. If the price is right, he could price himself outside of Detroit. Maybe he wants to be here and run it back. Maybe he wants a longer deal. I don't know. This was a prove-it deal. I don't think he really had time to prove anything. And if you look at his stats, I mean, are they really that bad? Are they really that bad in the 5 or 6 games that he played? I don't know. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I can't believe, again, 47% said no, 53% said yes. I would assume that at the beginning of the season, this would have been like 95% yes. 95%. It's just amazing how quickly we turn on people. So for me, I say bring CJ Gardner-Johnson back if the price is right. He did a lot of good for this team, even if he wasn't available. I remember when he was hurt, he was still on the sideline and he was cheering our guys on. He was a vocal leader on the sideline. So I'm going to say that we need that vet. You know, we don't. We have a 4-year Fitu, a 2nd-year Brian Branch. We'll have a 3rd-year Kirby Joseph. And I don't want Melifonwu as our seasoned veteran because we'll probably wind up trading or cutting Tracy Walker this offseason. So for me, I say if the price is right, bring in CJ Gardner-Johnson. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. We have hit 19,000. Thank you guys so much. Had a great, outstanding. I mean, one thing about the offseason is the excitement is so high during the offseason that we seem to grow much faster than the in-season material. So we did crush. We're almost at 19.1 thousand. We have a real chance to get to the Super Bowl at 20,000 subscribers when the 33-inch Lion will be given away to a random subscriber. I'm going to pick it live so you guys will be able to see that entire thing happen in real time and know that everything is valid. So consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Help me reach my goal. And yeah, that would be awesome. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.